like I remember the first time I met you guys, it was probably the time that Mark was just mentioning, but like I remember we just spent like a day doing photos, and then like you guys brought your own camera, and like I was teaching you guys how to use it. That was a fun time, but like it was crazy to see you guys then, and then you have your own media team, and then you have all like just you guys exploded since then. So it's been cool to see that progress as well. But what was it like scaling and having a team all of a sudden? Because I didn't know if you had a team back then, but it just seems like you didn't have as much as you guys do now, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. There's a lot of growing pains. We started off, just basically a couple of kids running this program and trying to figure it out on the way. And we hired a lot of people just based off of friendships and proximity and people who are convenient. Mm-hmm. And the bigger we got, the more we needed to hire talent over, just convenience. So there was definitely some growing pains there. We had basically turned over almost our whole staff because of it, but we were in a position where we could afford to go out and hire really good people, like our CMO is Candace Hood-Smith. I don't know if you know her, but she's been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah, she was with bodybuilding.com, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I've known her for a long time.
Yep, she was with bodybuilding.com, and then she was with OPEX.
Yeah, that's where I remember her from.
Yeah, now she's with us. And
that's incredible that you have her. She's awesome. Yeah, she's very busy.
She's our team mom. I say yeah. When I hired her, great. I hired my own boss. So she makes everybody's life so easy.
What's great is she's in it, right? Like, because she's probably in there lifting with you guys from time to time too.
Yeah, she's awesome, and she's good at lifting and CrossFit, and she's kind of like, she really likes to be involved and on the same like wavelength in all ways. So she took up boxing when Stefi took up boxing too. She's been doing that too. A lot of her videos on Instagram, you'll see her doing that now.
I bet years ago you wouldn't have thought that you would be able to hire somebody like that, because I'd imagine that she's not inexpensive. She's very experienced and knows what she's doing.
Yeah, no, it didn't even occur to me that was an option to do when we started. I mean, so cool. Stefi and I did everything.
But looking back at it, you would probably, even if the money was a little bit of a leap, viewing it the way that you're able to see it now, you probably would have made the leap to pay somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I would tell anyone, as soon as you can do those things, investing in the people.
Sometimes you got to do it yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And we did for a long time. Right. I would sign off it was just me and Stefi. I'd sign off the hybrid team, at the end from Team Hybrid. But it was just me, I was the guy running the apparel while Stefi was in school to the post office and shipping it out and like doing the customer service. And Stefi made all the content, filmed it herself and all that stuff. So yeah, it's been really cool, and it's been cool to see. I mean, I think the product we put out and the marketing we put out just speaks for itself and what a difference it makes to invest in talented people.
How about you mentioned that you hired some people that were convenient, some people that were friends. Mm-hmm. If somebody's trying to start something and they don't have the money to hire somebody like you just mentioned, would you suggest that they hire those type people that they know? Like, what are the things that you need to look for if you don't necessarily have the funds, but you need some people for the job?
It's tough. I love what Jocko says in extreme ownership. Like, it's always your fault, right? If you're going to take ownership of the situation and you hire somebody and they don't work out, like you messed up in some way, right? You either hired the wrong person, or you didn't set expectations correctly, or you made yourself too available, or whatever it is. And I think that was part of our growing pains, was we made ourselves extremely accessible. Someone could walk into my office and be like, "Hey, I'd like a raise," and now I'm in a meeting, And at a certain point, we had too many people who just had full access and were totally comfortable just making demands and treating us like any friend treats somebody. If I'm your friend and I've got a problem, I'm going to come say it to you straight up. But sometimes that's not the best way to run a business. So I think go back to your question, I think setting expectations right away. We also, at the beginning, we did lots of things on handshake agreements. We're like, never doing that again. Learned the hard way there. And just being tough. Like, I think it's like, if somebody wants to work for you, then they have to understand that if you're talking about business, you're their boss first, and you have to, I for a long time really didn't like any sort of like workplace confrontation. So, I let things slide that I shouldn't because I didn't want to be tough with my friends or whatever people who are going to be around all the time. And we learned from that. So
you'd have to be really clear up front, I think, would be the key factor, and to say, hey, this is a 1 to 3 year thing. Maybe I'll transition into hiring, but understand you could be replaced because you're not professional in this field. Like, do you agree? You can ask your friend, like, do you agree? And they're like, yeah, I'm just some schlep who's looking to gain some extra dough,
Well, and some people are great and they grow with the business.
Yes.
and they learn the skills, right? Like there are some people who are, like for example, our training director, his name's Simon Chang, really great lifter. I think before he was with us, he was an accountant, and now he didn't know anything to do with the job really. We initially hired him as a nutrition coach, and then he was just one of those people that always wanted to do more and learn more and all that stuff. And then when we launched the app, with our first software development experience, we realized we were kind of just like at the mercy of whoever wrote the software, right? Because at any point, it was our whole business. They could have just been like, well, now it costs double. Luckily, they never did that, right? They had full control and access. They're basically gatekeepers, right? Yeah. So Simon taught himself how to code, and now is the kind of one of the bridges between those software developers and the programming that you actually see come out on the app. We have another guy who did that as well. He's by education is a chiropractor. His name is Ian Kaplan, and now he's the strongest software developer on our team, better than the guys who are like the actual software developers. Mm-hmm. I hope they don't get mad at me if they hear me say that, but that's what they say. They say that he is like leaps and bounds above. He's just like a Rain Man type brain.
It's about within you hydration specifically. They have This Is the Way, which is an amazing protein that tastes really good. There's a fasting gum, but the hydration is very interesting because there's no other electrolyte supplement like it out on the market. It has 60 milligrams of magnesium, 320 potassium, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, but it also has 500 milligrams of aminos, essential amino acids, and then 2 milligrams of zinc. 2 amazing flavors, blueberry lemon and a salted caramel. That's you, Andrew.
That is me.
So, guys, you know how important electrolytes are. They help you perform better. You don't get cramps during workouts. And, with the diets, you need good electrolytes. So, Andrew, how can they check it out?
Yes, that's over at markbellslingshot.com. And at checkout, enter promo code PowerProject10 to save 10% off your entire order. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes. When you made the transition from like friends and people in your circle to professionals, did you lose friends?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a risk that you're going to have to take if you're going to hire friends too. I think you need to be aware of that, because everybody can say that they're going to be professional and they're going to not let business affect friendship, but I mean, it does. It just
part of the game, right?
Yeah, it does. So I think, that's something you should be conscious of, that's a risk you're taking anytime you bring somebody into a business. A lot of times if the business relationship ends, so does the friendship, and you can still be cordial and stuff, obviously. But people don't like to get fired. That's like on the list of traumatic things. It's like death of a loved one, getting fired, So being the person that carries out that act on someone has a lot of weight.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, so like scaling with this many people, I believe it's kind of impossible to have like a personal training like service, but is like apps and web apps kind of like the only way you see people moving forward are going to be able to like care for so many athletes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also a matter of what your goal is, right? You can have a really high touch service where you're dealing one-on-one with people and you're charging a lot of money for that, but we just took the opposite approach where we wanted to not charge very much. Our service is only $40 a month and you get access to all these things. We try to really over deliver on it. And for something like that, we have thousands of people. I think there's 20 something thousand people on the app, and there's no way we could service them. Right. We can't hire, what can someone deal with 20 people at a time? Like, we're not going to hire all the coaches to each coach 20 people individually, but we do a really good job, I think, of providing as close to a one-on-one coaching experience as you can. Like, we have, when you open up your app to your workout for the day, If it's the powerlifting, each different program has a different coach. So if it's the powerlifting program, you open it up, it's Stefi. She's explaining why, like the video of her telling you why you're doing what you're doing, giving you a few tips on all the different exercises, talking about what the intention of this part of the training cycle is. We have a Discord community, so if you need coaching beyond that, you click through the app, it takes you to Discord, and all of our coaches are in there. So we have 20 group Discord moderators that just all they do all day is go through there. We have doc moderators, so if you get injured, you have qualified professionals assess, like chiros, PTs, helping you through that. And then we have specialty coaches for each program that are answering. Actually, I'm leaving from this podcast to go watch one of them who's competing at the Arnold in weightlifting right after this.
What's overhead look like on a business like this? Like, do you have a lot of overhead, or is it like is it only after like the money's produced that there's like overhead, because then you have to pay back some of the coaches?
No, I mean, the software development team is our biggest expense for sure. And that's something that I would caution anyone going into the business of software development. I mean, I think almost every business now is in some way a tech business. So it's really hard to avoid being involved in some way. You're either going to pay someone outside to do it for you, or you're going to bring it in-house. We brought it in-house because we wanted control. But it's a really long process, and it's not just something that you build and leave. The full-time jobs for a number of people sitting there just working on this thing all day, making sure it just runs properly, making sure changing all the features, like making it dynamic.
Every click on the entire thing has to work all the time.
Yeah, and it's a really big project. It's not like, I don't know, or it is in some ways like building a house, right? There's a lot of maintenance fees that come along with that. So, if you think you're just going to build your house and then sit there and never spend another penny on it for the rest of your life, you're dreaming. And it's the same way with software development. But then outside of that, I mean, we have overhead in other areas, but it's more by choice. Like, we have the facility that HQ that we have has our podcast studio, has our YouTube studio, has our warehouse and print shop, has, like I said, software development team. We have like a little lounge. We have a little swing that sits up on top of the from the ceiling that you can sit in, like a big couch thing. We try to make it like it's got a kitchen, it's got everything. We just try to make it like a place where people want to work.
Hey, wait, before you go, you got this far. That means that you've enjoyed the heat that we're continuing to bring you. So listen, like the video, comment something down below. We'll reply back, and subscribe to the channel because we continue to bring you the heat. Seriously, do it. Love you. Bye.